part two of my artist impression, and this particular subject, I was a client who basically wanted her family done, her grandma, her and daughter and son, and this one was fun. This one was pretty fun. Like again, it was kind of like I haven't done often like figures and people and stuff, so I was really just about really assessing and analysing, and a lot of people have different approaches when they come into this. So again, it was just stenciling obviously the rough outline of the face, and then I was working into, so once I got the eyes and nose, mouth roughly aligned to roughly how I wanted to, it then was about placing the shading in the places and the spots that worked. And yeah, it's very interesting way of adopting, because some people would start from the eyes and would do the shading and develop it around the body, but me, it was really like looking at the whole face, doing it from stenciling the whole rough face, and then really working in with the shading in areas, and then I could really rub out parts that didn't work and concentrate on the stuff that did. Going at the hair, for example, was really interesting. Like I said, it was just darkening certain aspects and certain parts, especially looking at the leading as well. And that's when coming to leading was really effective for me. Appreciating the 2B, the 4B, the darker you go with the lead, the more you can get a more rounded feel of the figure. And it was something that I started to settle in a lot more into, being more comfortable, appreciating the strokes, so to speak. And again, this particular, the boy was really good, and I was pleasantly surprised. Also, when developing the piece, because the lady or the client wanted it done as a family picture, so she gave me separate pictures. So it really was looking at placing which face with, or placing which area, which face would go where, and how it would look all in all. So yeah, so the young boy was placed at the bottom, and obviously I grouped the young lady at the top right, and the older her grandmother at the top left, sort of thing. So it was all intermingling. But yeah, as you can see, I do like set pieces like photos, so you can actually see the progression of the shading. Again, it was just stenciling using a light pencil, HB, and then 2H, and then 2B, and then 4B, and then again just developing it slowly, and just looking. And with me, I tend to almost take a step back, and I won't even look at it for another 5 to 10 minutes, and I won't. In terms of penciling, I just have to almost look around, look at aspects, look at everywhere before I start again, because immediately I'm assessing the whole perspective, the whole proportions, making sure each one is right, each bit is correct. Because again, it's like a tug and war affair in terms of when you're approaching the pencil, when you're approaching the pen, or if you were using that media, and you just want to make sure the aspect and the facial expression is exactly right. Because obviously when I was younger, trying to obviously doing human figures was very complicated, thinking that people would look like them but wouldn't, but yeah, it's, and obviously when it comes to the hair, I was very loose with it. Wasn't really subtle. When it comes to strands, you have to know that you have to take just as long to create each strand individually on the pencil, just so that it looks loosely, so that it looks like there is a bunch, as opposed to just scribble around it and try to make it seem as if it's just a part of as such, especially if you're going to darken the areas. It's best to consider strokes and outlining the hair strands very specifically. Again, lighting, it was no problem here, because really I was able to sort of just look around and assess where the lighting source would come from. But again, because this was a piece that it really was just about selecting the space and then placing the individuals where I thought it best, then yeah, it was really more important for me to work then. I like to develop the eyes later sometimes, in most cases, only because I just want to make sure, because eyes is something of a favourite of mine. I love to sort of almost distinguish. When you place the eyes in, you get a flavour, because I think the important part is the whole in general face and or facial expressions, um, as well as the nose, lips, everything from then, because it works for me around then. Yeah, eyes would usually, it comes very later, as you probably see my last video which I did of the buffalo, when you saw when I did the eyes later. And yeah, developing this piece again, every so often, especially from that's one thing, you have to make sure you're looking from a good perspective, because if, for example, if you're drawing from a proportion or place where the pad is supposedly at an angle, there's a chance that the eyes will look a bit lopsided. Like, as you can see now, the eyes don't look exactly as it was, and this was something that was wrestling with me, and I thought, maybe I wasn't looking at it from a different perspective, but no, it wasn't. It really wasn't. And I really wasn't happy with how the eyes came. So, like, I just thought, I'm just gonna rub it all, take it, keep rubbing, and just make it more powder. Now, as you can see now, it smells better. I had to, sometimes when you're rubbing out your own work, just especially of previous shading, you're worried about, how it will look. Am I going to get that Am I going to adapt it well enough? Am I going to adapt it to exactly the same tone? And in most cases, you've got to just make sure the work itself is proper and is exactly, because there's no point in half-hearting all of your work. You want to have a better look and feel of your work, and to say, like, I'm satisfied with this. And yeah, gave it to the client, and she was indeed very, from what I know, she was happy. Because got paid nicely for it. Well, as nice as it was, and yeah, it was. And this was when I developed the work. It was when I was in lockdown. So during that time, it literally was really just seeing who could do what, if there's any jobs going, and advertise myself socially there, and fun times it was. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching to this video. Hope you like it. Please say something in the message board. It would be great to hear back what you think, what you like, and yeah, I'm going to keep pushing these videos out. Many thanks. Peace. Bye.